dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano boarding and day.
Good morning from twos. Welcome back to our second lesson this week. I want us to focus on writing skills. I think this is one of the skills that is important of the one of the four skills in English language that is very important, and our topic is sentences. So from here you can see that we have smaller pieces so that makes a sentence, but I want you to think that without sentences you can't write, without sentences you can't communicate. So we have to look at what are the sentences and how can we improve our sentences so that what we write is considered right in the context or in regards to the purpose of writing as well as the audience. So let's start off by looking at the definition of a sentence. Okay, a sentence, I can define it as a set of words built around a main verb starting with a capital letter and ending with a full stop or an equivalent punctuation. So here I talk about a main verb, then it must begin with a capital letter and end in a full stop. Also equivalent punctuation marks. So this can be, for an interrogative sentence, can be a question mark, or imperative or exclamation sentences, it can be an exclamation mark. Good. So as a group of words, an individual sentence should always sound complete. So it must make sense. That is what I have written here. It must be complete, and also it should come with a seemingly natural seeming end. So that's what makes a sentence. Okay, so when you're writing, because today's topic is related to writing, so I want you to build sentences that are helping you to communicate effectively. Okay, so that's what you are going to see. Now, then we have three different sentences. I know this one we learned way back in Form 1, but I want you to focus on how they work when writing. So we have the simple sentence, we have compound sentence, then the third one is complex sentence. So let's look at the first one. Okay, a simple sentence. The name simple sentence, as it sounds, it's simple, but what does it have? It's built to have a subject and a main verb. It doesn't have to be necessarily a short. Okay, so let's look at why would you use a simple sentence in your writing. So there are lots of reasons why someone would choose to use simple sentence. And the first one here that I want you to see is to create tension. So when you want your readers to continue reading, so you can use a simple sentence. Okay, so I want you to look at this particular sentence. Okay, I want to we rounded the corner, he was there, we stood in a year at sight. So I want you to look at these particular three sentences, they're short ones, but what you're trying to build tension, so your readers are being immersed into your work. You try to grab them so that they dig deep into what you're writing. Okay, so let's move on. So they're frequently used to offer what we call facts. Okay, I want you to use facts. If you want to put facts, okay, so that what you are trying to explain is easily understood by the reader. That is the essential of writing any piece of work. so that you communicate effectively. Bring readers' attention, grab them, and make them visualize and continue reading your work. So you can use a simple sentence when you want to give facts as well as when you want to build some tension. So for example, Paris is the capital city of France. Okay, so everyone understands that. It's quite easy to understand. Okay. So let's move on. So short, simple sentences can make the meaning clear and easily. As I said in the previous sentence, that Paris is the capital city of France. You find it just making sense. So for this reason, we use them when we're aiming at different, maybe readers. For example, if you're aiming to your audience, the young people, you'd use simple words, simple sentences that they would understand easily. Okay. I want you to look at this particular example. Where are you going to? This little brown house. So this comes from the log pile house. So you can look at the simplicity of that particular sentence will make the readers to get what you're trying to communicate. So that is a statement which I got from the Growful by Julian Donaldson. Okay. Now I want us to move on to the next. Also, we can use them to create emphasis. So when you want to create emphasis, you use a simple sentence. So I want to give you an example here. Look, we had a gurgling sound that was sweet music in our ears and peering sound, found a stream of fresh water almost at full. Then a moment later, we were down on our knees drinking the pure ice-cold water in long draughts that put new life into us. It was a splendid moment. I want you to focus on the last sentence, a very simple sentence. So you have to look at the emphasis that when they were drinking the sweet water, how did they feel? You want to emphasize that. So that particular emphasis is brought about by this last simple sentence. So this is what I want you to do. You know what simple sentences are, but now how do you use them in your writing? That is the main focus of today's lesson. Good? So let's move on here. Okay, I want us to go to the next, complex sentences. So I think you've also learned this. These are made up of 2 or more clauses. Okay, so I want you to look. They build around a simple sentence, but they add this the second group. That's the clause that tend to give the detailed information about the previous concept that's being put across. So I want you to look at it. They add extra detailed information. This is what I'm trying to say here. Add detailed information. For example, this will help you to visualize, to create picture in the reader's mind. Okay? For example, let me just look at this. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys, out of which interminable serpent of smoke trailed themselves forever and ever, and never got uncoiled. It had a black canal in it, a river that ran purple with ill-smelling dye, vast piles of full building full of windows where there was rattling and trampling all day, and where the pistons of the steam engine worked monotonously up and down like the head of an elephant in a state of melancholy madness. So just look at this particular piece that I've written. This is a long sentence that goes, so from this one starts from here, you can see, up to here. Then the next one goes all the way to here. Sort of complex sentences. So let's look at what that one brings about. So if this is what the picture that you're trying to build when you're constructing your piece, then you can try to create long sentences. Will give your readers that detailed description at the back of their mind. Okay? And last but not least, among the types of sentences, I want to go into compound sentences. So these are those sentences that are joined by these conjunctions. We call them the fun voice. So for example, and but. So these ones are always used to provide more information or give an extra viewpoint. So if you're writing and you want your readers to have more points, then that's what you have to do. So look, they are being joined by the words, those words that join two simple sentences. But what you need to do, you have to know what particular sentence are you joining, what ideas. So that will help in the choice of the conjunction that you're going to use. For example, and is used when you're trying to add extra information, and but if you want to give a different viewpoint, and so when you want to add extra information to build on the information given in the first point of the sentences. So these are where you have to be very careful when you're constructing compound sentences. Okay, I've given you more, or if there's an alternative information you want to give, yet if you want to use that there are other ways you're looking for, or introduce an opinion that's given in the first part of the sentence. However, is going to be used when you want to show that there are ways of looking at things differently. So this is what you have to look at. But also you can use fragments. These are not complete sentences in your writing. So fragments, they're always not full. So we call them minor sentences. So they're missing subject, or maybe sometimes a verb is missing. So we want to use them when we want to help you emphasize on a given point, or sometimes you want to create surprise or suspense in a way. I want you to look at this particular example. She looked as careful as she could, but found nothing. Absolutely nothing. The one that is in blue is a fragment. It doesn't have absolutely nothing. So what is the subject? You can't tell there. But look at the effect that it brings to your readers. So the next one, I needed help first. So you can see that one as well. Then this one, imagine this. You're trapped, cold, lonely. So these are what you call the fragments. Okay. So in a nutshell, I want you, before we go into questions here, very few questions, you have to look at what do you intend to pass on. So this will help you in trying to decide whether you're going to use simple sentence, compound, or complex sentence. So let's just go through 1 or 2 questions as I wind up the lesson. Okay, what must a sentence have as an absolute minimum for it to follow the correct rules of a simple sentence? So I want you to look at this. Must it have a capital letter, subject, main verb in a correct way, and a full stop equivalent, a capital letter, noun, subject, like that, or this one? So the correct answer will be here. So there must be a capital letter, the subject, the main verb, and a correct way of ending it. So that is what you have to do. Okay, so second, which is last but not least here, I want us to which of these is a simple sentence? Okay, so Hargeisa is the capital of Somaliland, and it is a beautiful city. 2, Hargeisa, the capital of Somaliland, is a beautiful city. Then last, Hargeisa is a beautiful city. So which is a simple sentence? So this is exactly the answer here. Hargeisa is a beautiful city. So in a nutshell, see which particular types of sentence are you going to choose while constructing your essays or any composition you're writing. Otherwise, have a good week and stay safe.